Ali here at MindWaveMeditation.com, and today we're going to talk about how to form habits for success. No matter what area in life you need, relationships, finance, career, health, wealth, whatever. The tools, the tips are all in this video, so join me on the other side, get your pen and your paper out, and I'll see you. Alright, so why should you listen to me? What have I succeeded in? Why should you spend any of your time listening to these mouth words? Well, I'll tell you. I was an alcoholic, I was depressed, I was anxious, I felt stupid for years, there was lack of self-worth, I didn't have any confidence, did I say anxiety? I had panic attacks for nearly 10 years and didn't tell a soul. What else have I failed at? All of these things and many, many, many more. I had all these issues. In my head, it was all one big ball of meh. I like to call it that. It was just a big tangled ball of meh. And over time, I started pulling this thread and I realized that all of these things, depression, alcoholism, addiction, and it was small parts of a big ball of meh. And when I started to unravel this and I overcame one of those things, then I kind of looked at the other things and went, okay, well, I've done this one. I'm going to take the rest of you on. And one by one, I took the rest of them on and smashed them all in the face. I overcome them all. One by one. It took me a long time. It took a lot of help. By my wife. She was really the one that saved me. I was on a definite path to destruction before she came along. But I was talking to her today about this, and she said, yeah, but even after we met, it took you another nearly 10 years before you really, sorted out your BS. And it just shows that, like, unless we've got people there or we around us, the support, or we're willing to do this on our own and we're going to really get in there and get the job done, it can be difficult. I had the support of her and it still took me 10 years because I didn't talk to anybody else. It was very much, I'm doing this on my own, and wouldn't recommend it, but it worked for me. So I overcame a load of stuff and I did it one at a time, and I put a hell of a lot of work in, and I went the other way of like, now I'm doing this. And I'm sharing as much inspiration as possible to see if I can help you make any changes in your life. And if you do, then let me know down below so you can help others. Little comment, oh yeah, I did this and now I do that and it feels good. That tiny little comment can make someone on who knows where in the world go, okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm going to stop smoking, I'm going to stop drinking or manage my party time, I'm going to dive into that career that I'm too scared to do, but I'm going to ask out that person, I'm going to whatever. That one comment can change someone's life, so highly recommend it and appreciate it. So I accomplished a load of stuff that I kept to myself, and now I'm doing this. I want to know what you are gonna do. What do you need to change? What habits do you need to create and secure in your life so you can succeed? So before you get to that point, you really need to know who you are, what you're doing in this life, where you're going, what's your story. And I'm going to shamelessly plug this because I'm absolutely obsessed with this mini course I created. I love it dearly. I love it with all my heart. If you've done it, thank you so much. Share your wisdom below. And if you haven't, dive into it. It's amazing. You'll figure out your purpose, your passion, what you're meant to be doing here in life. And I cannot think of a better thing than self-realization and then self-actualization, where you're doing the thing that you love. So D2D. Click the link below, get involved, discover who you are, and then come back to this video and we'll dive into the next tip. So knowing who you are, knowing what your purpose is, what your passion, where you're going, your whole big story, your big why, is the thing that's going to fuel you to even make these changes. you can make changes, but if the foundations are faulty or not secure or not in the right place, then it's all gonna fall apart. I was in a heavy metal band with my best mates. It was all cool, it was awesome. I got to play heavy metal and it was primal and it was badass, and I got loads of great stories out of it. I was massively depressed for basically the whole time, and I didn't realize it at the time because I just thought that was what life was. But now I'm on my true path. I can see so clearly that any habits I was trying to implement for them to be nurtured and to take root were ultimately going to fail, because my life path, I was on the wrong path. I'm glad I did it. I'm glad it all happened, but it wasn't my path. It just wasn't what I was meant to be doing. So knowing what you're doing, knowing who you are, is the foundation for all of this stuff. Every single video that we're doing here, anything inspirational that you're looking outside of yourself on the internet and books and courses, we have to know who we are. We have to know what we're doing here and what our mission in life is. And then everything else will fall into place if you show up and do it. Until you know that, it ain't gonna happen. You'll always get to a point and go, because life has a funny way of trying to push you in the right direction. And if you're going in the wrong direction, it will push you further in that direction. So it is down to figuring out this fundamental core of your existence. Who am I? What am I doing? Where am I going? What is my vision? Once you've got that, you are sailing, my friend. When we wake up in the morning, we can wake up with a feeling of dread just going through the day, or we can paint this vision of what we want, even if we're not there yet, even if we have a stepping stone job or a tolerance job to help us get there. I had my own version of that for years. I had 5 years in a job that was to get me here. And I had to do that, and every time I was on that job, I was writing notes, I was writing my book, I was just, doing as much as possible because I knew I wanted to be here and not there. So having this vision helps us wake up in the morning, and no matter what part of our story we're in or we're on, we almost like lasso the top of the mountain and just pull yourself closer and closer to that mountain. And no matter what is in your way from here to the top of the mountain, it helps you just to keep going. Just keep going. So wherever you are, don't worry. Keep breathing, keep making notes, keep figuring out who you are, and keep pulling yourself towards that vision. So habits for success. One of the most enjoyable things I love to do is to continuously tweak how I'm living to make it more efficient, to make it more enjoyable, to make it better. And one of the things that I love to tweak is my week plan, right? And when I started out, it was like, right, when I knew my vision, I was like, wow, I'm gonna crush this, I'm gonna do this. And it was like, Monday do this, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 5 days a week, all of these different things. I'd get 3 days in and fail and feel awful. I'd go down the downward spiral to doom, and I would go, I was super on it on Monday, and I set all these tasks out, and now I haven't done it. Now I feel crap, like a failure. Oh, is this good failure, or is this just bad failure? And then I'd go, okay, back to the drawing board. I'd rub out one of the days, and I'd go, okay, 4 days a week, crush, all this stuff. I'd get through it. 3 days in, I'd burn out, and oh no, I'm doing back here again. I'm not as good as I thought I was. Oh, okay, all right, back to the drawing board. I keep on doing this and trying to figure out the perfect way of living and achieving and getting loads of things done, but also trying to enjoy life. And then I figured it out. You read all these books and they say, get up at 5 and do all this stuff. And, there's all these different ways of crushing it, right? There's all these different ways of success habits. But ultimately, it comes down to you. What do you want to do with your life? How much do you want to succeed? What feels attainable to you? only you have the formula that you're gonna enjoy doing, and also get to a point where you're crushing goals and you're not completely burnt out doing it. So you've got to find that balance. The balance that I found, which I'm really enjoying at the moment, is 3 days a week, complete crush. And what that means is I get up early, I do my morning routine, bang, 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 all this awesome clearing stuff, yoga, meditation, visualization, it's all in there. And then I do a big chunk of work, I get the job done, then I go and work out, and then a little bit of a lazy workout, but still a workout, and then I come back, I do another 90 minutes of crush, and then I do a dinner, and then there's the evening routine. It's a full day of... The next day, what I tried to do was repeat the thing again and do it again and morning and da-da-da-da, it just didn't work. So what I realized was, if I put full power into a day, then the next day I'm a bit knackered. And I tried to fight this for ages. And then I stopped lying to myself and I was like, look, Ali, you want to do a lot. You want to crush it. But realistically, it's knackering and it's not that enjoyable. Do you want to crush it and try and enjoy life, or do you want to be wiped out, successful and completely miserable? Yeah. So I figured that out, and my rule is I do 3 days of crush, full crush as well, and then the days off, I'm off. I get to do what I want, I get to work out too, but as long as I'm doing 3 full days of crush, then that feels really good to me. You might be completely different. It's different when you've got kids. It's, you know, there's all these different factors we need to think about. So my story is my story. What is your story? Before you even dive in to try and create habits for success, you've got to know who you are, what you want, what your vision is, and what's going to feel good to you. Once you know that, that's when you can start to weave it in. So what we want to do is decide what's going to be attainable, what's going to be enjoyable to some degree, and what do we think we can pull off. Figure that out, whatever it looks like to you. Say you've got a full-time job and there's a hobby you really want to do, or maybe at work there's some goals you really want to hit. Where is the extra effort going to come in? Where are you going to find the time in your day to carve out that time to do the extra research or to do the learning, studying, planning? You've got to carve out time. You've got to have some kind of sacrifice in your life. Think about your day. How much time are you spending monging out playing computer games or scrolling Facebook, Instagram, or, you know, just... I used to tidy my room and then find stuff and go, oh, I haven't seen this for a while, and just sit and read magazines. There's so many times in the day that we can waste time. Find that pocket of time where you can devote to yourself and your success and map out what it is exactly that you want to be crushing and achieving. You ain't gonna achieve anything unless you figure it out first what you want. So that's your first major tip. Okay, number 2, the biggest rule ever for every successful person living on the planet, I've read these books, they keep on repeating it, is do one thing and do it really, really well. And once you've done that thing and it's going really, really well, and you're in this level of balance, you're showing up, you're consistently, being the massive word we need to think about, be consistent. It's just, if you consistently show up and you're a good employee, or you show up and regularly put out these videos, or you consistently fill in the blank, then this is where the progress and the growth is going to occur. You've got to keep showing up no matter what. You've got to live in this kind of like, I am here to crush mode. And to not overwhelm yourself, this is all of it, to not overwhelm yourself, just take one thing. Take one thing, whether it's trying to get a promotion or trying to quit smoking, whatever it is, take one thing at a time. Take it out of the big ball of meh, or whatever it is, or the success pot that you're trying to success pot, where did it, and take this one thing and devote yourself to getting the job done, go into full crush mode. And until that plate is spinning and you're like, okay, I've got a handle on this, then and only then are you allowed to return to the ball of meh or the success pot and take down the next thing and go, okay, it's time to do this. Alcoholic, depressed, anxious, blah, 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 all this stuff. One by one, I had to deal with each issue and get the job done. And so, now there's yoga, there's meditation, chanting, positive thinking, healthy lifestyle, healthy eating, healthy reading good stuff, watching more conscious things, learning, studying, growing, reviewing, appreciating, practicing, living, being. This is all part of the success habits. And, we can get through all these things, all these problems that we've got and all these issues, and we have to replace them with positive things to outweigh what we've been doing. So we've got to acknowledge our progress. We've got to review our progress. If we're failing like I was at my week of win, that took me maybe 2 years of just going, on and off and trying all these different things until I really realized, I was like, 3 days a week of crushing it feels good. I don't want to do any more of it. And, the days off, I'll do lots of stuff, but it's my rules. There's no kind of gotta. It's, I personally feel like I've got to have a bit of gotta, because otherwise, left to my own devices, if you're anything like me, it's just like, just want to just walk around and be with the trees and stuff. So once we've got that, once we've figured it out and we've reviewed and we've pat ourselves on the back, that's when we bring in another habit. That's when we build up this positive list, these positive habits. So what do we got to do is we've got to create our list. We've got to figure out, first of all, what our bad habits are, and then list number 2 is what are all the good habits that we want to do. So 2 lists. Number 1, write down all of your bad habits. Look at them, get real, be honest with yourself. No one has to see this list but you. Really be honest with yourself. I wasn't sure about some of my bad habits until I got through, I was started unearthing all this stuff, and I was like, ooh, yeah, there's quite a lot to unearth here. Get real, put them out there. List number 2, create all the positive habits that you want. Don't let them overwhelm you. Just decide that that's what you do want, even if this is a lifetime's worth of stuff. I want to master martial arts at some point. I ain't got time for it now. I want to master meditation, qigong, yoga, energy healing, all of this different stuff first. Martial arts is for later, but I know I want to do that, and it's on my positive habits list. So I'm feeling around the age of 50 that I might dive into martial arts. Just knowing that that's going to happen later alleviates the kind of I'm never going to get to that. Write that list. Decide what you want to be achieving, and then take one thing at a time and get to work. How do you do that? Anxiety. Say anxiety is your big, massive thing to deal with. Reach out. Just reach out. Research it. Start studying it. There's so much information. I've got a whole anxiety playlist down below. I had someone call me the other day, told me they'd been suffering from depression and anxiety for 10 years. I was like, I did too. They were like, yeah, I know, that's why I'm buzzing you. I'm like, oh, okay, let's go. And they're like, okay. Then we had a session. We started talking about it. We broke down their big ball of meh. They felt a bit more relief. We got to work, and slowly but surely, they're going to dissolve their anxiety and depression. And it can be as simple as just reaching out, saying what you feel. Take one thing at a time and just go easy. There's no rush with all this stuff. It's your life. You've just got to take one of these things and go, I've got to deal with this now. I've got to deal with this. How do I deal with it? Get on the internet, see who's going to help you. I'd love to help you. Lots of people out there would love to help you. It's what they do. And they love to help you because they've been through it themselves. Never go to a coach that hasn't achieved what you want to achieve. If you want success in finance, go to someone that's made a lot of money and made some great decisions. Don't ask the guy at the pub. You know, if you want someone to help you with anxiety and depression, go to someone that has overcome anxiety and depression, not someone with maybe, you know, got the right ticks in the books. They've got to have had the experience, otherwise it's meaningless. So just do some research, get out there. Quitting smoking, there's millions of ways. Quitting drinking, there's loads of great ways. Just get to work. All right, so I'm just going to give you a little free gift here. So once you apply all this stuff, once you start really diving into it, all this stuff, it's going to create confidence, it's going to create discipline, it's going to create new habits, and it's going to rewire up here to want to achieve more, because it makes you feel proud that you're doing it. And this is the key. When I stopped having panic attacks, so, okay, this is how it was. I was walking down the street when I first noticed it, and I remember going, I'm not panicking. I would be panicking by now. Oh my God, it's not happening. And I knew that it wasn't coming back. I just felt that it had gone. And I was just in this like, oh my God, is this what life is like? I can just, okay, is this, oh my God, this is life. And when I had that first feeling, that was the first thing that I really had to deal with, because it was debilitating. I couldn't go anywhere without drinking all this stuff. Horrible. Once I crushed that, I just was on a mission. This is why you've got this guy right now. I was like, right, where's my list? I'm gonna plow through every single one of those things. I didn't realize that doing that would lead me to then blabbing about it on the internet, but it gives you this like drive and passion for wanting to hoover up all of the BS that you've got. You want to make yourself as good as possible, because it's a better way to live. It's so much more enjoyable having less BS to deal with. So create those lists, do what you can, apply all of this information. Let me know your takeaway down there. And what I'm going to do is look down here on another link for your Covert scale. And what it is a little scale that I've made. And on one hand, you're going to have 5 bad habits. And write down in order your bad habits, whatever they are, from like the most severe to the less severe. And then on the other side, decide what you're going to do when you experience these habits. So if you're having anxiety, put it at number 1. And then your good habits, what are you going to do when you're feeling anxiety? Or even better, what are you going to do to prevent anxiety? All the info is in the playlist below, in the anxiety playlist. But work through, choose your top 5 from the list that you've made and just work through them. It's as simple as that. Just commit to crushing your top 5 bad habits and use your good habits to dive into a new way of living. And if you're an alcoholic, maybe every time you're thinking about drinking, see if you can do a day sober, and see if you can get help and balance yourself out. That's how I did it. I tried to do a week off, and I tried to do that for months and couldn't do it. So I got it smaller. I was like, I'm going to do a day off and just do one day. And that was a big deal for me. So whatever your thing is, write it down, click the link below, say your stuff, give us all that, give it a little share, bloody blah. Lovely to see you. I'll see you on the next one. And you've got this. You've absolutely got this. It just takes you, it takes your heart and soul, it takes your vision to be in tune. It's not a big load of stuff. This is the illusion that we fall into. Life and all our problems isn't just like it isn't that. It's just lots of little things that seem to be all stuck together, and it takes over. And when we start unraveling it, and it all kind of falls apart, and we can spot that our issues are that. Some of us have got more, some of us have got less. But ultimately, they're just separate things that we just need to work on one by one and do them carefully and do them as best as possible and just be the best version of yourself that you can possibly be, so you can inspire yourself to do better in life. You inspire your friends, your family, your kids to look up to you and, you know, inspire wherever possible. Because I don't know, why not? It's just a better way to live. See you in a bit.